is a chapter by chapter Bible study series, and we are in 2 Kings. Last chapter, in chapter 7, we saw a skeptic and his faith. We also see God using 4 unlikely lepers to help facilitate his plan of provision for Israel, even though they don't really deserve it. Being merciful again. We see God providing for them in the most miraculous way by scaring off the Arameans with the sound of massive armies, but there's no one there, and they end up fleeing and leaving all the goods and the spoils to Israel. 2 Kings chapter 8. Elisha said to the woman whose son he had restored to life, "Get ready, you and your household, and go live as a resident alien wherever you can, for the Lord has announced a 7-year famine, and it has already come to the land." Sometimes the Bible hops around a little bit, but that's okay. If you learn better chronologically, there are chronological Bibles out there. For now, we're just going to focus on the chapter that we're in and try to remain calm. Verse 2. So the woman got ready and did what the man of God said. She and her household lived as a resident alien in the land of the Philistines for 7 years. When the woman returned from the land of the Philistines at the end of 7 years, she went to appeal to the king for her house and field. Now, this Shunammite woman has been serving Elisha. They have built a very close relationship, but not only that, seeing all the miracles that God has done through Elijah created faith in her, and so she's a believer of the Lord. And we see here that before this massive famine that hits previously, God warned her to get out of there because it's not going to go well. And she listened, she obeyed. And so she listened to the man of God, obeyed, and God provided for her. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. The king had been speaking to Gehazi, the attendant of the man of God, saying, "Tell me all the great things Elisha has done." While he was telling the king how Elijah restored the dead son to life, the woman whose son he had restored to life came to appeal to the king for her house and field. So Gehazi said, "My lord the king, this is the woman, this is her son, Elijah restored to life." When the king asked the woman, she told him the story, so the king appointed a court official for her, saying, "Restore all that was hers, along with all of the income from the field from the day she left the country until now." You know, when we use the phrase God timing, this was certainly God's timing to restore everything that he told her to leave for protection. She obeyed faithfully and did not worry about that stuff, came back, and she got all of what she had left restored to her. And it's crazy. Gehazi just happened to be there telling the king of the exact story of the woman who just walks up right then and there. Scholars believe that this moved the king to provide for her things that much more. So often God has provided for us in ways that, like, the timing is never a coincidence. When stuff like this happens, God's timing is so perfect and impeccable that we can only give him glory for it. And if you have a moment like this, give him glory right now in the comments and share. Share! Verse 7. Elisha came to Damascus while King Ben-Hadad of Aram was sick, and the king was told, "The man of God has come here." So the king said to Hazael, "Take a gift with you and go meet the man of God. Inquire of the Lord from him, will I recover from this sickness?" Hazael went to meet Elisha, taking with him a gift, 40 camel loads of all the finest products of Damascus. When he came and stood before him, he said, "Your son, King Ben-Hadad of Aram, has sent me to ask you, will I recover from the sickness?" Elijah told him, "Go say to him, you are sure to recover, but the Lord has shown me that he is sure." Then he stared steadily at him until he was ashamed. I was confused, like, who was ashamed? Was Elijah ashamed because he was, like, staring at him in a trance? Or was Hazael ashamed because he was getting stared at in a trance? It's interesting that when people are sick, they go to the prophet of the Lord to find out, am I going to get better? And it's very similar to how we treat Google when we're sick. While Elijah is giving this man a word, he goes into this trance. and just stares into Hazael's eyes. The man of God wept, and Hazael asked, "Why is my Lord weeping?" He replied, "Because I know the evil you will do to the people of Israel. You will set their fortresses on fire. You will kill their young men with the sword. You will dash their children. You will rip open the pregnant women." Hazael said, "How could your servant, a mere dog, do such a mighty deed?" This response feels like a sham, okay? Also, the term mighty deed does not fit the mold of this situation, in my opinion, for someone who would not see that as a good idea. Other translations say that he said a great thing. How? Elijah answered him, "The Lord has shown me that you will be king over Aram." Hazael left Elisha and went to his master, who asked him, "What did Elijah say to you?" He responded, "He told me that you are sure to recover." The next day, Hazael took a heavy cloth, dipped it in water, and spread it over the king's face. Ben-Hadad and Hazael reigned in his place. Elijah's prophecy did not give Hazael this idea. He already had the heart for it. This just accelerated things for him. Ambition can lead to depravity. Then it goes into a summary of Jehoram, Judah. It actually talks about how, he was an evil king, but not only that, the alliance with the marriage to Jehoram and Ahab's daughter, he was the worst king of them all, remember? That marriage, that alliance, caused him to just be even more evil. And then a summary of Ahaziah, another king of Judah. But it mentions how God was divinely faithful to his promise to David. Although these kings are being evil and ruthless, God has not smited them altogether. He is still keeping them alive. Here we have this Shunammite woman whom we have been walking with and seeing her hospitality to Elijah, allowing God to bless her and bring her to faith. And not only that, he is protecting her from that crazy famine that we just read about that got so bad that people were running to cannibalism, and God is keeping her and protecting her. She's still obeying him. God told her, "This is what you got to do to get away from this," and she obeyed, left everything behind, and the Lord restored it to her. But then we have these kingdoms. We have Aram, we have Judah, all of these kingdoms that are being just, God has left his provision from them. He has decided to let them be with their sin, and he pulls away his protection. And so we see innocent people from the hands of men and their carnality, and God weeps because of it. This man of God wept at the prophecy of Hazael's evil actions towards these people. God cares. He loves these people, but he can only do what he can if they have faith, if they turn away, if they seek him. But they're seeking themselves in their own sins, which ultimately leaves him no choice but to let them go. Themes in this: danger of unholy alliances, God's care versus human cruelty, divine faithfulness, and consequences of sin. It's not worth it. Thank you for watching this 4 a.m. and I will see you on the next 4 a.m. when we cover chapter 9. Love you guys.